What's going on, y'all? Today I want to bring up a topic that is very touching and is very sensitive to a lot of people. But I would like y'all to take this journey with me. Please take the time and listen to what I'm about to say. Because what I'm about to say will help break the barriers to allow each and every one of us to understand why things are the way they are. First, I want to start by saying that if you're black, that everything that was told about us in the past, any of our successful black people from W.E.B. Du Bois to Frederick Douglass, to Marcus Garvey, anytime these people are introduced to us in history, I noticed that they use the first title as enslaved. And as I go to do my research and realize that every person that they ever described to us that ever been successful or done anything good in America, the first thing they was enslaved. Now, as I start to think back, I'm thinking like, how does that make any sense? What sense does that make? Then also, when I heard about Tulsa, Oklahoma, Greenwood, if you can identify the same story of the Trail of Tears of the Indians that they ran off their land, the Trail of Tears lead to Tulsa, Oklahoma. Now, we keep on thinking that we as black people has been enslaved when we have not been enslaved, but have been held captives as prisoners of war on our own land. Just think about it. Ever since you've been in school, you never heard anything positive or anything beneficial about a black cultivation, a black civilization, or black monarch. Nothing. That's a crime in itself that you keep and withholding information from the very ones that you stole the land from. That's a war crime. See, these are things that people don't think about, but these are things that you should think about. I know people want to crawl up under the rock and just go on ahead and live life and feel like there's nothing that you can do about it because they want to give you that defeative attitude, that defeative notion that it is nothing that you can do about it. But you can. Have you ever thought about why you only know one language? And why, as a people, that you identify as an African American? Why are we the only people that's identified as that? 95% of the people that's over here has never been to Africa. Not saying that we don't descend from the same bloodline or whatever, but that don't mean that we're African Americans. Our brothers may be in Africa, but this land that we're living on, our ancestors has been on here for over 10,000 of years. And yet still they want us to continue to believe and receive the same education from the same people that oppressed us and kept this secret away from us. And then you have people of same color as me, making excuses, trying to explain why things was done the way it is. And then have the audacity to blame their own people that been oppressed, that's been neglected, that's being ostracized, that removing the black man from the black family, having us fighting over crumbs and crabs. You created animals out of people that know they should be free, that feel some type of sense of power that's going on around us, but we are constantly being bombarded, criticized, hated on. With the division of religions, people believing in something that your oppressor gave you that keep you divided. that don't allow you to see the bigger picture, that is something greater than all this. If we only put our minds and our hearts and our spirits together. You thinking it's a coincidence that they are allowing us the opportunity to actually build in the country that they deny us rights from? You don't think they utilize us for their benefit in order to make their profit? They have been doing it from the beginning of time. Even when you say Africans sold Africans to, who brought them? What was the reason why they sold them? Because of the money and the stuff that they was bringing over from other assets that intrigued. Business is business. Nobody's denying that. But what happened on the offset of what happened is how a people and how an organization single-handedly dismantled a system that was created by our ancestors' hand, that was way greater than the system that we live in now. And a system that also gave us equal opportunity to become someone and do things in life. Not someone that holds you down and give you a sorry piece of education and expect you to go out and do things great when they hold all the deeds and the titles to all the businesses. That money was denied our people, banks, to become businessmen, get business loans, and then they give you high expensive interest rates when every dime that they got came from us in the first place. They in our old ancestors' time done took over our whole ancestors' systems and robbed out us from our ancestors' wealth. Have us trapped into this system and sitting here pointing fingers at each other and then saying that the whites is not the problem. See, the concept of when you saying white and black, they did that intentionally in order for you to distinguish between color. And we have to recognize that even though people that might be lighter than us or consider themselves a Caucasian race have benefited greatly from the punishments and the disillusion of denying us the rights on our own land by keeping us in a box that continuously say that everything that we ever done in this world had to be done by an enslaved individual. When you do research, you can see that everything that was ever invented was created by a black person, yet still they was titled as enslaved. How can that be? If you don't see how we are being controlled and manipulated and sold off and made money by the billions, by the very ones that controls you. If you want to be an entertainer, a bigger company that's not ran by a black person promotes you. You getting just a fraction of what they're making just to be in a minstrel show. Football players, basketball players, all are getting paid by billionaires that want them to play on their team for them to make money. That's all we are good for here in this particular system. An entertainer, a control mechanism, a plant, an informant. Something that identifies to destroy the very community that they wish to destroy and then mentally that we're trying to build. And we have a polarized magnetic pull from each other for the simple fact that everybody is vibrating on different frequencies. Have us so much discombobulated that we can't even trust and love ourselves. Well, I'm here to tell you today that it's time for you to think. Open up your minds and think. Not only think for yourself, but think for your family. Think for the person that you really care for. Because things is about to change. And if you're not prepared for this transformation that's about to happen, then I feel sorry for you. And I felt it was compelling for me to come on and make this particular recording because I want my people to know that it's time for us to wake up. Everything that we was ever told was a lie. We are the most greatest and the most extraordinary people on this planet. And they know this. But if you do not mentally break them from out your mind and your spirit, you will constantly get caught up in this same web of lies they've been telling us for 250 years. Put your egos away and start listening. There's plenty people online that's giving us the game. And it's time for us to open up our minds and our spirits and recognize who we really are. Because this is not us. We are so connected to our spirit world that we do everything to connect to our ancestors. But it's one thing that we missing amongst each other, and that's love. You cannot get past and heal and forgive and understand that majority of our brothers and sisters has been broken. It's not their fault that they were. And some people might be stronger mentally to be able to deal and handle things like most people, but some can't. And that's when we learn to empathize and start to understand that those people need help, and the ones that are strong-minded, woke, and recognize the situation, we can step in and stop this shit. We are the true rulers. And to identify something, to allow people to know the truth about this patriarch and the matriarch. In our society, the matriarch rules. A man respects this woman as well as the woman respect her man. That's why in chess, the queen protects her king. She the one make all the play moves in the move. The man is the order, the strength. He don't have to do anything but be there and be strong. And when it's time to act, they know he gonna do what he said he gonna do. We had a saying, if a man ain't good in his word, he ain't shit. And that's what a real man is. We have to be understanding, brothers and sisters. We all went through the same struggle, and we still going through it right now today. In order for us to be able to build and free ourselves, we must be able to love each other, because ain't nobody gonna love us the way we love ourselves. And I can't apologize for the way this system has broke us down, had destroyed us, had utilized crack, had utilized urban renewal, had utilized every tactic that they could ever use in order to divide us. And they keep us working for themselves, paying us barely enough just for us to keep on coming back and pay bills that we shouldn't even have to pay. But that's the life that we've been stuck with. But we don't have to be stuck again. So if you a real true soldier, if you want to be really free, like and subscribe, put your name down in the box. I will reach out to you. It's time for us to make a change, and the change is now. It's 2026, and it's time for us to go ahead and release the hell bondage that they got on our minds and on our spirits, because we are the strongest people that they ever encountered, but they broke us down mentally through tricks and illusions. Let's break that cycle.